And we welcome you live into the South Point Arena.
Go ahead, Gordon. No, go ahead.
Oh, come on. We welcome you into the South Point Arena here for the first game of our doubleheader as Jersey City and River Falls
We got some
get underway.
gremlins for Game 5 as Dave McHugh refuses to turn up the mic. But game number 5, Ira Thor, Gordon Mann with you. This is the first men's game on day 3 of the D3Hoops.com Classic. And it's a very interesting matchup, Gordon, as you have two of the top public school conferences in the country meeting here.
Really,
New Jersey City University out of the NJAC, and Wisconsin River Falls, the Falcons out of the WIAC.
Yeah, no offense to the SUNYAC, the MASCAC. What else am I missing? The Little East. I guess the CAC has almost become, what's left of it at least, has become a stateless college. But these are the two premier conferences. And starts with your Gothic Knights. Want to tell us about their starting lineup?
NJCU will employ the same starting lineup yesterday, and the notable change is that Kyrie Myers, who was a third-team point guard when the year started yesterday at point guard for the first time in his career, had a good game, 4 assists and just 1 turnover. The rest of the lineup, Sam Toney, the 2-time All-American at the power forward slot. Quadri Moore, the transfer from Cincinnati at center. Denzel Banks, he's at the shooting guard. And highlighting today, Jameek Moore had a great game yesterday, his first Gothic Knight double-double in just his 6th game of the year, battling injuries. Wisconsin River Falls, their last win was their last game out, and it was one that was notable as they upset 8th-ranked Nebraska Wesleyan. The Falcons come in at 6-3. They haven't started WIAC play yet. Their lineup, you see it on the screen. Jack Stensgaard, the 6'3 junior out of Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. Matt Keller, a senior guard out of Elk River, Minnesota. Ross Ingersoll, junior forward, 6'9", out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Austin Werdin, he's had a great year so far. 6'5 sophomore out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, averaging 16.5 points a game. And Julian Jackson, senior forward out of Minneapolis. Jackson wearing number 25. This might be one of the rare games where NJCU actually does not have the size advantage.
Yeah, and Wisconsin schools, the players, they're generally big. The comparison that frequently gets made on the football side is think of the WIAC as a D3 version of the Big Ten, and that's somewhat apt on the basketball side as well. This is a conference with exceptional size and exceptional depth. Last year, Wisconsin lacrosse was basically a non-factor. This year, they're 10-0. Last year, Stevens Point and Oshkosh were the top teams. Oshkosh won a national championship. This year, Oshkosh is 5-5. So you never know which team is going to be good. You just know conference play is going to be bruising, and you're going to get a lot of size and a lot of skill out of the WIAC teams, including from Coach Burkhoff's Falcons tonight, who are out to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Julian Jackson hit the first shot to turn around jumper in the lane. Jackson averaging under a point a game, but hitting that first shot. Jumper out the window, no good. Rebounded by Quadri Moore. Moore kicks it out to Sam Toney, NBA range 3. It's going to be off the mark. And a rebound here by Werdin, who's, in addition to his 16.5 points, has averaged 8 rebounds a game. Been a very versatile player for the Falcons.
Stensgaard for 3.
And that one's off the mark. Toney got a piece of it and then actually ends up being corralled by Ingersoll after ping-ponging off 2 Gothic Knights. Toney against Jackson and stops him in his tracks. And it'll be 8 to shoot here. Pull-up jumper is in and out. No good by Keller. Rebound by Moore. Banks with speed up the court.
Ooh.
And hard contact. And it'll be a foul on the Falcons. This is the first ever meeting between these schools. NJCU coming in at 5-6 on the year. Been underachieving for their standards. Of course, the Gothic Knights have been in 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments. River Falls, a huge win to go into the break off of Nebraska Wesleyan. Moore with it, Moore. The fall-away jumper knocks it down. And we're even at 2. And in fact, I was looking up the records as taking it inside. Jackson shot off the front rim. Loose ball picked up by Toney. The only time NJCU had ever played a member of the WIAC was the 1992 consolation game of the Final Four as Jameek Moore scores from Tony. And they lost that game to Wisconsin-Platteville. I think that was very early on in the Bo Ryan years.
Bo Ryan's, that would have been, what year was that, 92?
1992.
That would have been his third or fourth year with the Pioneers.
And
he did not lose very many games over that span. He had the highest winning percentage at any level of college basketball, including D1, when he was the head coach of the Pioneers.
We were talking about this yesterday. One of the great things about a tournament like this is you're going to see some of these matchups that you do want to see. You want to see the NJAC and the WIAC play. And, and that's the reverse layup is no good by Jackson. Moore with the rebound up the floor. Banks off balance. Layup is good. I mean, the last real notable matchup of these two leagues was in the Final Four a couple years ago when Oshkosh got by Ramapo.
Yeah, they're two of the you're exactly right. The athletic skill that you're going to see here and the level of just physicality is going to be really impressive as Jackson slips inside Tony for two.
Yeah, nice feed there by Matt Keller to find Jackson cutting. And we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, the physicality of the leagues. And it's not like a sloppy style. It's you play so hard. And so many of these players, because they're all from the same area, know each other so well, have grown up playing against each other in the state of Wisconsin, which is obviously a lot bigger than New Jersey, but in New Jersey as well. And, so you've been used to banging hard on the court for many years.
Well, the stat that gets thrown around a lot come conference play, which will start next weekend for the WIAC. I know it's already started for the NJAC, is it's so incredibly hard to go undefeated in conference. I think probably Bo Ryan's Platteville squad, and as time runs out here, might be the last to do that. Maybe one of the Bennett Stevens Points teams pulled it off. What was the last NJAC team to go undefeated through conference? Yeah.
No, we went 17-1 one year in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Even the best Ramapo teams I can remember, the one that went to the Final Four, and the year that they were so good with Charles Ransom and Amin Wright, they split their regular season series with Montclair State that year.
And even the Horace Jenkins teams.
Yeah.
William Patterson, as good as they were. I mean, Horace arguably
one of the best Division III players
of all time, and they never went undefeated. It's very hard. Banks splits three defenders. Layup is good. And the Knights with the 8-4 lead. It's just so hard. And it's even harder in the NJAC because you play 4 extra games because you have, I think, 2 extra teams.
Yeah.
14 games round robin in the WIAC and 18 in the NJAC. You've been on our campus and have called games for us before, so you've seen just firsthand the physicality that you're going to get in night in and night out.
Yeah, it's one of the for the East Coast, some of the best environments I've ever been in on the Division IIIs. And you're a New York guy, I'm a Philly guy, so that's primarily what we know. Emerson Williams, I mean that's an easy one. But if you take away those types of rivalries, a big midweek game between 2 NJAC schools where the campus comes out for it, those gyms are just you can feel the tension in the air. It's excellent for college basketball.
Absolutely great competition. Almost an errant pass. 3-pointer by Keller is good.
And I'd imagine the same is true from what the crowds I've seen in the WIAC. I know the same is true for the CCIW.
Banks takes it hard. He's going to draw the foul. I've only been in the state of Wisconsin once. 2012, it was a perfect weekend where every one of our teams was on the road. Giants were playing the Packers in the playoffs. Looked up plane tickets. They weren't that much to fly to Chicago.
Nice.
Tickets for games in Green Bay was reasonable. My wife gave me the
early
she gave me
Hanukkah present.
The errant thumbs up. I don't think she really wanted me to go, but she let me go. As Jameek Moore takes it to the hole for 2. Got on a plane with my brother, and we got to see the Giants upset the Packers. As two-handed throwdown by Julian Jackson. And I tell you what, the Green Bay Packer fans, even though the Giants won that day, nicest fans I've ever encountered in any sport in my life.
That's what they're known for, is being very nice. Well, River Falls, a little farther away from...
It's the other side of the stadium.
Yeah, from Lambeau Field. Yeah.
I was looking at the map, and I was surprised how close River Falls was to the Minnesota border.
Yep.
I knew it was in that southwestern corner, but...
Well, you can see that from their roster. About, actually, more than half of the kids. They have more kids from Minnesota than they do Wisconsin.
Turn around, no good. Second chance by Alex Odie, who just checked into the game during the last whistle. Is good, the 6'7" junior out of Cheswick, Wisconsin. And River Falls back on top by 1 as we go back and forth here in the first 5 minutes and change from Vegas. Moore to Myers for 3. Bang! Kyrie Myers is not known for his shooting, but he knocks that one down as he had time from the wing.
And maybe Bryce Phillips knew that because he was cheating off of him considerably and opened up that space for the open 3.
And he's by far, by the way, Myers, the shortest player on the floor. Three-pointer to answer is no good by Jake Reek, the 6'1 freshman guard out of Winona, Minnesota, who just checked in.
He might have the largest shoulders I've ever seen on a freshman guard. He is huge upstairs, as they say.
Three-pointer by Banks, no good. Jackson pulls it down. Under 14 minutes to play. Three-pointer is in and out. Loose ball coming down with it. Blocked by Calhoun, who just checked in for the Knights. And on the jump ball, possession arrow will favor NJCU. They'll go to the bench. As will River Falls into the game for the Falcons, Ross Ingersoll.
You see the
back
nice
in.
Highlight on the long down court pass for the two-hand jam as River Falls shows that the Wisconsin teams can do a little transition play themselves.
They got some size, that's for sure. Into the game, Michael Clement, number 25 for NJCU. And number 23, Caton Darley, sophomore transfer for the Knights. Tony with it, he remains in the game. He and Myers, the only 2 starters still out there. I take it back, Jameek Moore's still in, and well, Jameek Moore makes his presence known as he buries the 3. Long pass, too far.
Well, he had him, and he just wasn't looking, and yeah. Bryce Phillips has a right to be frustrated there because he had his teammate there, Ingersoll, streaking on. Ingersoll was so open he didn't even expect the ball to come to him. And, if he had looked up half a second earlier, that's an easy 2.
Myers with it. 5 points. NJCU in lead. Ball is knocked away here by Reek. 3-on-2, transition, layup is good by Stensgaard.
What a play by Phillips there. He took a lot of contact and controlled the fast break enough to dish it off for the easy 2-pointer. I like what I see so far. He doesn't score a lot, but good toughness from the sophomore from St. Paul.
Tony powers in. Tony, that one is blocked, and he will ultimately draw the foul.
If you're watching this and you're not a fan of these 2 teams, but you'd like your team to come here, I encourage you to contact the folks at Sport Tours International. We have a bunch of teams already inked on the men's side, but still maybe room for a couple more. Wisconsin teams have frequently come here. Stevens Point, Oshkosh, River Falls, Eau Claire, they've all been here. Next year, Wisconsin Superior will be here. They're not a WIAC team anymore. But out of that same athletic conference, or at that same college system, I should say.
Tony converts the free throw, so it's a 17-13 lead in favor of the Gothic Knights as we are approaching 8 minutes gone by here in Las Vegas. Nice step back. Three-pointer is knocked down by Stensgaard, the 6'3 junior out of Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. Tony tries to answer with a 3, and he does. That's his first field goal of the game, is 1 for 2 from 3-point range. And the Gothic Knights lead by 4.
Now, Stensgaard is the guy to watch for River Falls from 3. He shoots 47%. I was going to say an easy putback there, but Austin Worden was unable to complete it.
Yeah, surprising miss there. Tony, another 3. This one no good. Gets his own rebound. Over to Jameek Moore. The floater in the lane goes down. Well, these teams have been trading 3-point attempts. And I think maybe something that's going to stand out here is who can answer on the offensive glass.
Nice defense there by Tony. Denies the inbound, the entry pass to Alex Odie. Forces them to go away from the way they wanted to run the offense and ends up being a steal.
Darley takes it away. Darley in transition, the layup with the right hand. And the lead is out to 8. And Wisconsin River Falls coach Jeff Burkhoff, in his 14th season, is going to call a timeout. We have 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here your impression so far, Gordon, of what has been a really good 3 days of college basketball here. We obviously have a larger women's field than most years.
Well, I'm going to set you up with a softball here. How is this team 5-6? This team, they got an All-American. They've got size and speed. They've got kids who can shoot from outside. They've got a low post. They've got a transfer from a high-level D1 program playing center. How do they have 6 losses? Who'd you guys play in non-conference? Did you play a bunch of D1 teams?
That's been, well, I mean, we didn't have Jameek Moore for a while, so that didn't help. But as Dave said yesterday, and he made a very good point. If you have one of your top players out, you got to find ways to win if you're going to be a team that's going to make any kind of a postseason run. And took some loss to Yeshiva last week was eye-opening in this regard. I think Yeshiva, which gets overlooked by a lot, may be the best team in the Atlantic region. Yeah, well, they come from a conference, the Skyline. The Skyline and the Cognac are traditionally the weakest links of the Atlantic region. It's nicely designed play there for Ingersoll. And it's been, the last time a Skyline or a Cognac team got out of the first weekend of the playoffs, I think was Staten Island when they advanced to the Sweet 16 and got smushed by Franklin and Marshall. I know Farmingdale State had that one year where they advanced and they got smushed by Stockton, which I think was Richard Stockton at that point. But those are 2 programs that I got it. Gordon drops the headset. He's going to chase down the ball, which is dribbling to the far reaches of the arena, then kicks off the back wall and back. So Gordon Mann not only providing some of the best color in the business, but he's got faster reflexes than he gets credit for. Gothic Knights will sub. New point guard in the game. It will be Adonias Melvins Jr. as the teams turn it over on succeeding possessions. Melvins with it. 10 to shoot. Caitlin Darley looks at the shot clock, drives baseline, and he draws the foul on number 22. That is Austin Worden.
I looked at the D3Hoops.com scoreboard and I said, "Oh my gosh, there's one more game even later than ours." I forgot there's one more game being played here. It's Ramapo and Skate Scholastica, which comes up after this day. I was like, where is there a game being played that's even later than the one being played here? Oh, that's right, here.
That'd be an interesting one, too, by the way. Skate Scholastica upset Central in the first game of the tournament. Ramapo they're down. They're clearly down. Tony for 3 with 4 on the shot clock. That's no good. And a rebound by Keller. Keller up the court. Quickly, the Knights get back to defend. It'll be interesting to see if anybody stays up late on the East Coast for the Ramapo game. That one, Clement grabs it before it goes out of bounds. Off of the floor was Ingersoll.
Nice. Collapsed the defense.
Clement, that is swatted away.
Got away with the little Patrick Ewing hook there, but missed the shot.
Ingersoll at 6'9" lays it in after blocking Clement the last time. Clement's 6'6", but you can see a huge size advantage there as he goes one-on-one against Ingersoll. Ingersoll, a junior out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. 215 pounds as well. So not only has Tony an NBA range 3, bang! Sam Toney, his second triple of the game. He was 5 for 10 yesterday in the win against Central.
I've watched him play a handful of times. Is that primarily his game, to the step back 3? He takes a lot of them.
He likes that shot, but he does have the ability as a 4 to step inside. That three-pointer is way off the mark. Loose ball, Ingersoll eventually comes up with it. He'll score inside. I mean, when he scored 42 against Ramapo a couple of years ago,
they weren't all step back 3s.
Oh, he was powering inside for layup after layup.
Okay.
We'll see some subs here from both teams. For the Knights, they'll bring in 3. It'll be Calhoun, Quadri Moore, and coming to the game for the first time is current Las Vegas resident Jeff Haddock Jr., who has by far the most fans here, as that three-pointer is no good, pulled down by Jackson.
He wins the nice play there.
Taken to the hole by Stensgaard.
He wins the award for most fans of an individual player, but River Falls wins it for most fans of an individual team. They've They had a big contingent. I saw them getting breakfast or whatever it was early this morning. Lots of folks escaping the freezing cold weather of the Wisconsin-Minnesota border.
And St. Vincent on women's side, as Banks knocks that one in. St. Vincent on the women's side had a huge group of fans here.
Nice.
As that pass up court. Alex Odie, who just checked back in a moment ago, was able to convert the 6'7" junior.
Coach Brown frustrated there as Gothic Knights have been caught 3 times. Once didn't hurt him because the ball went out of bounds, but easy baskets for River Falls in transition.
Audrey Moore with it, goes in against Jackson, and he draws the foul. I'm not sure if it was on the floor or going up. See here is the official makes the call. It is 2 shots, so Moore, who is also 6'9".
So I alluded to this briefly earlier, the fact that Moore was a D1 transfer from Cincinnati. What's the story on how did he end up on the Gothic Knights roster?
Well, after he was a scholarship player for 3 years with Cincinnati, and it got to a point in his career where I think he was ready for a change, and he actually looked initially at a Division II school in Northwest Oklahoma, and realized pretty quickly that he was homesick and it just wasn't a good fit for him. And coaches in the area knew that he was coming home, gave Coach Brown a call, and after 13 years, he's certainly developed a reputation as a player's coach, somebody that players enjoy playing for. Got a phone call in late August, and Moore was on the roster. That's how it happens sometimes when you get guys transferring home. Jameek Moore is a similar situation. Played for Division II school down in South Carolina, Claflin.
Okay.
And for personal reasons wanted to come home, and it's been another great addition. Knocked away. Haddock will come up with that one after an initial tip by Matt Keller.
Yeah, good hands there from Keller.
Haddock pulls up for 3. That one's off the mark, and slow to the ball were the Falcons, but ultimately Worden got there. 6:43 to go here. 6-point lead for the Knights. First half action from Vegas.
And Jersey City shooting 60%.
That 3-pointer is no good. Haddock is able to come up with it.
Yeah, River Falls has not attempted a free throw yet. 6:27 to play in the first half.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's been not very physical as Quadri Moore from way downtown drills the 3.
Sure he's a center?
I'll tell you what, Dave and I were talking about this yesterday on the broadcast. 6'9" center at this level, yes, but
right.
At the Division I level, he'd be a 3.
He's a 3, right.
Yeah, he definitely likes to step back and long arms and shoot the triple, and he's good at it. He's the best 3-point shooter on the team. Well, these two teams have loved shooting 3s today. Turned over off of the knees of Odie. Loose ball picked up by Haddock. Banks with it. Banks in transition. Spins. And a foul is called. It's on the floor. It's going to be on Jake Reek.
Well, River Falls right now is struggling with Jersey City's speed. You can see it there. They're a half step slow, which is resulting in either fouls and open looks, and they know it. They know they're struggling with the speed, so you see them sagging off for 3, which has allowed both Moores and Tony to hit open 3s. And so Jersey City is 62%, but they're 5 of 10 from behind the arc.
A little too high even for the 6'9" Moore, and the Falcons in transition. They trail by 9 as we are approaching the 5-minute mark to go here in half number 1. A tournament like this can be what really catapults both of these squads into the second half of the season when you get deep into the heart of conference play, because after this, it's pretty much all conference action from here until the end.
Haddock in a mismatch there with Jillian Jackson, and Julian is the team's leader in just about every category. He's 16.5 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, and 10 blocks for Jackson, but he had the first 2 points of the game. He had 2 after that, but has been very quiet since then. He hasn't even had a lot of touches. And Haddock and others have been able to, despite giving away a bunch of inches to Jackson, keep him away from the ball.
That'll be on
does not count.
Jackson, of course, an honorable mention all WIAC selection a year ago, and that's impressive in a league where everybody's good. There's nobody who's not good in the WIAC.
And River Falls, 2 years ago, they were the class of the conference. Nice play there by Phillips. And then last year, they buried themselves early on. They went 1-7 to start conference play after a decent non-conference schedule and a decent non-conference performance. But you go 1-7 in the WIAC, you're not coming back from that.
Moore for three, well off the mark. Jameek Moore there for the follow, and he converts, and Gothic Knights lead by 11.
So as important as this game is to make sure you maintain momentum.
That's a block there. Tie up by Calhoun. Jackson with the miss, but another chance here for the Falcons. Three-pointer by Phillips off the mark into the hands of Calhoun.
They got to find a way to get Jackson involved in this game. He looks frustrated, and a lot of touches with him not near the ball. And now he's matched up with Moore on the outside.
Knights got lucky that the ball knocked away, came into one of their own players' hands as we approach 10 to shoot and nearly 4 minutes to go here in the first half in Vegas. Banks with it. Banks to Jeff Haddock. 3 to shoot. Jameek Moore for 3. Beats the shot clock. Jameek Moore drills the 3. And I don't think anyone would have expected this. Gothic Knights lead by 14. It's a full timeout. We'll go to a break as the Falcons talk it over.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Ira Thor, Gordon Mann back here at the South Point Arena with Dave McHugh on production for us. You're watching the D3Hoops.com Classic. This is the 10th annual edition here from the South Point Arena. The Knights with a 14-point lead over the Falcons as head coach Jeff Burkhoff calling the timeout. River Falls, again, they went into the break with a huge win, but have been off since December 14th, so it's their first game in 15 days. After the timeout, Ingersoll, nice pass, but a little too high for Jackson from Keller. Found Jackson cutting there, but just a little too far out in front, and for the Falcons, that is their 8th turnover.
Yeah, you look at the two guys who would be key here for River Falls. It's Jackson and Stensgaard. Stensgaard's played well. He's got 7 points, but again, Jackson 4 easy points quickly and very limited touches since then. Nice defense there from Stensgaard.
2-on-1. The layup is good. That ends a 9-0 run as Stensgaard's able to lay it in. Jameek Moore looking for Calhoun. Stensgaard is a transfer from the University of South Dakota. So another player with D1 experience. Haddock falls away. That one is well short, picked up here by Stensgaard. Three-pointer. That is no good. Long rebound all the way out after Keller miss. Jackson inside with the right hand.
Good, important possession there for River Falls to string some baskets together, get this down to a 10-point lead. The Falcons are 2 for 13 from behind the arc.
And it's a team that coming into play today was averaging 9.6 three-pointers a game, and it's a pretty decent three-point shooting team at 39%. Jameek Moore to the hole. That one is no good. Loose ball. Moore ultimately comes down with it and swatted away with authority by Stensgaard. Three-point defense has been NJCU's Achilles heel all year. Obviously, I see it firsthand. That one just demonstrates my point. as a 7-0 run as Keller drills the three. The Knights have given up more than 10 3-pointers a game, and if River Falls is able to figure that out, it'll become a much more competitive game. A 7-0 run after NJCU had a 9-0 run, and NJCU will call a 30 to talk it over.
Yeah, that's the guy you got to account for. Keller is the 45% three-point shooter, and they just lost track of him coming down the court. And I think that's why Coach Brown wants the timeout, is to talk about the, not a bad possession before that, but you can't let the guy who's shooting almost 50% from three trail down the court and set up wherever he'd like with nobody covering him for three.
Keller's one of those rare players that has a higher percentage from three-point range
and free throw
than from
from his field goal,
from
right?
the field goal. He's always a great foul shooter at
90%. Yeah,
but 45-3 from three-point range, 45-1 from the field, and he's had 34 assists in 9 games. So truly one of those distributing guards that can also score in bunches. Knights will sub. Myers back in at the point guard. And Caton Darley's back in as well. We'll also see Michael Clement back in at center along with Quadri Moore. So 4 changes for the Knights. Fall away jumper, no good. Quadri Moore with the rebound. Moore, and it's going to be a traveling violation as he dragged the foot. He did not agree with it, but right in front of our game officials. So 7-0 run over the last minute and a half. As we are in the final 2 minutes of this opening period, the Knights led by 14. The Falcons have whittled it down to 7, and they have the ball. That's knocked away by Quadri Moore, who slips there for a second. And then a hold called down low on Darley.
Just looking at the preseason poll here for the WIAC. River Falls, and those polls generally just follow what happened the year before that. River Falls was picked 5th of 7. Oshkosh was the favorite. And then Platteville, La Crosse, Stevens Point, Whitewater, and then River Falls.
NJCU was actually the preseason favorite in the NJAC, but Montclair State's been the best team at this point. As the three-pointer is good by Stensgaard.
You don't look at him and say, that guy must be a D1 play, D1 prospect, but then he starts playing, you go, oh, he's got a different level of skill.
Oh, a 14-point lead has been whittled down to 4. You figured this was only a matter of time before River Falls started to get its shooting touch. And a minute to play, the lead is 38-34. Coincidentally, yesterday it was 38-38 halftime against Central. Jameek Moore misses the 3, and amongst 2 trees, it's the 6'3 Stensgaard who ultimately comes down. Jackson to the hole,
wow.
And he scores, and the Knights' huge lead is down to just 1 possession.
Jersey City's settling for a lot of threes here. Now Burkhoff exploding in anticipation of the fast break. I'd like to see them use that speed a little bit more. They had the speed that was setting up the threes earlier in the first half. Now it feels like they're just settling for threes.
Quadri Moore will go to the line for the Knights, trying to make this a little bit larger of a margin.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely they're going to shut out River Falls for 11 minutes like they did Central last night.
Jameek Moore misses for just the 5th time in 11 shots. Quadri Moore with the rebound, and he'll go back to the line. So after missing on a 1-and-1, he'll have 2 shots with exactly 25 seconds remaining. 2 players in double figures right now for River Falls. Now Stensgaard's heated up 5 of 7 from the field, but Jackson very quietly 10 points, 5 out of 9.
Yeah. Quietly is the right way to put it. He just kind of is in the right spot at the right time by virtue of his footwork and his ability to run the break. He's going to get a break here.
Quadri Moore now with 7 points. He'll have 1 more free throw, 5 rebounds to go with it.
Alex Odie back into the game for the Falcons.
Jameek Moore leads all players with 14 points on 6 of 11. Quadri Moore knocks down both. And that seizes what was a 12-0 comeback run for the Falcons after they trailed by 14. So the final possession perhaps of the half, 40-36. NJCU on top off the screen. 3-point attempt is no good. The putback is an air ball into the hands of Myers, and his heave at the buzzer is well short. So we will go to the halftime break in what's been an entertaining first 20 minutes. Gordon, the Gothic Knights leading the Wisconsin River Fall Falcons 40-36.
Yeah, Stensgaard went over to the freshman after the shot and was about to say, what was that all about? when Reek attempted that putback, and Reek shook his head at him and said, I didn't know how much time was left. So didn't realize he had enough time to plant and set and take another shot.
Taking a look at the halftime stats before we go to the break. NJCU shot 48.4%, 15 out of 31. They were 6 of 13 from three-point range. That's 46.2%. And we mentioned that Jameek Moore with 14 points leads all scorers. For River Falls, started off slow. They heated up late. 16 out of 35, 45.7%. Gordon, they really struggled early from three-point range, but they started to turn the corner there as we got closer to the end of the half.
Yeah, before those last two misses, including an interesting three-point attempt from the biggest man on the roster, they had hit fourth straight field goals. So why don't we take a break here, and then we'll come back and get you a full stat recap, get us a chance to process everything. Jersey City University leading Wisconsin River Falls. It's 40-36 here at the D3Hoops.com Classic.
It's on us to stop sexual assault
in any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
to stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Shit, I'm at the wrong thing. I thought we were playing ice hockey. Wait, this isn't box lacrosse? I wonder if I should play this at Goucher. What'd you say? Alright, that's funny. Sad but true.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
My name It's Marcus Walker. I was All-State, won a state championship, a high school All-American, and played college and pro ball. I played because I love the game. I grind to be the best. I sweat because I put in work. I'm strong because I believe. When I want to bring it before game time, I come to the house that college basketball built, the CBE. No matter your skill, take it to another level. Elevate your game right here at the College Basketball Experience at Sprint Center.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance, a monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
Worthless. Don't trust them. They'll hurt you. You're worthless. It's pointless.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I coined my definition of success in 1934. My definition of success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. It's like reputation and character. Reputation is what others perceive you to be. Character is what you are.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
Coach of the Year, Administrator of the Year, All-America Team, Wade Trophy. The WBCA doesn't just honor coaches, but players, administrators, and much more. The WBCA strives to honor those who have contributed to the advancement of women's basketball. Celebrate the present, honor the past, look to the future.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's going to become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
Back here in Las Vegas, second half action, about 90 seconds away. And Gordon, very entertaining first half. The Gothic Knights led 38-24 as you see the stats, but River Falls had an answer.
Yeah, after at one point, Jersey City was shooting 60% or so, and River Falls was shooting about 30%. And they quickly met in the middle where you could see the shooting percentage almost dead even now. Also, River Falls started the game 2 for 13 from 3. They hit 2 of their final 3 3-pointers, so that makes their 3-point percentage look a little better. I think the most striking thing, and you don't see it on this recap here, but River Falls hasn't attempted a free throw yet. For as physical as the teams are, and as up-tempo as they, at least Jersey City and at times River Falls would like to play, Falcons haven't got to the free throw line at all, literally. And the other thing that surprises me a little bit is, you look at the size, you look at Tony and Moore, and you figure, all right, this is probably a pretty even fight underneath. Not so. River Falls outscoring Jersey City 24-12, and I realize some of that is guard play, right? So the Falcons have bigger guards, and they've been able to get out in transition a little more. But surprise, those two things don't usually correlate. If you're outscoring the opponent by that much, eventually you're going to get fouled and get to the free throw line as opposed to an open shot. But it just hasn't happened yet for whatever reason, just a strange quirk. Stensgaard has been really, really impressive, 12 points. Jackson has 10. The rest of the Falcons have been relatively quiet. And for the Gothic Knights, the two Moores have 22 points. Tony has what I would call a quiet 7, but we know that he's capable of exploding at any point.
That's a great point by you about the size of the guards, and we'll see how much of a difference that is in the final 20 minutes of the matchup between the NJAC and the WIAC out here in the Pacific time zone. It is a game that started 9 p.m. in New Jersey, 8 p.m. in Wisconsin, as that first attempt by Keller falls short.
Good look, though. He curled around the rim. He had an open jumper. See if Jersey City can, again, get back to exploiting their speed a little bit. Starts with Tony. Nice move. Sets up his teammate there. Moore takes a smack in the face, but Tony sets that up with the quick first step inside. Instead of settling for the 3 on the right wing, which is not a terrible shot for him, he draws the defense, and it will give Moore a chance to get 2 from the foul line.
And Moore continues to force contact inside. It'll be his 6th and 7th foul shots of the game. The one thing I've not seen Quadri Moore do this year, despite his size, dunk. Not once.
How about that? He may be used to, if he's a D1 player and playing the 3, he's probably used to guys his size. Maybe not used to having as much airspace up there as he does here at the Division III level, where right now he's matched up with Jackson.
That's the only thing I ever really wanted to do as a basketball player.
Yeah.
Could never do it. I was able to touch the bottom of the iron, and that's about as close as I ever got. And for a while I was demoralized, and then I realized I just accepted it. Curse of being just 6 foot tall. That layup is no good by Keller. Tie up underneath.
Ouch.
As Banks and I think it's Jackson were fighting for that ball, and Banks ultimately is going to get whistled for that infraction. And again, my son is 6'3", he can't dunk either, so.
Wow.
Yeah, us Thors can't jump very high, apparently. Turnaround by Jackson, nice shot as he falls away. He's done that several times in his game, Gordon. It's a nice patent move that he has truly perfected. Nice player for this River Falls squad that, they're going to need somebody to step up in a league this year that I think is totally up for grabs.
I think you're right. I think that conference is open. With Oshkosh played a really tough schedule. They've got a bunch of guys playing somewhat out of position or not used to what they're playing, even though they have the majority of that national championship team back. But when you come out of non-conference play 5-5, I think you can't decisively say that you're the de facto heavy favorite. They have a chance to finish above 500. Oshkosh plays LaGrange tomorrow down in Georgia. But another loss today to Emory. And, Platteville lost yesterday to Mary Hardin-Baylor. Stevens Point lost to Texas Dallas. I think this conference is open.
When the year started with 4 to shoot, by the way, Jameek Moore, I don't think he sees the shot. Then he does, goes to the window, and somehow is able to split 2 defenders and convert that.
He's got a knack for that now. Moore knew it was coming, and he did not. He defended that well. I don't know that the coaches can be too upset. He was step for step with Jackson, put his long arms out, but just a better pass.
Yeah, Jackson just a good job converting, and Moore again drawing contact. He's going to go back to the line where he is already 5 for 7. When the year began, I had in my preseason poll, I had Oshkosh number 2. I didn't have anybody else in the league.
Did you have Swarthmore 1?
I did have Swarthmore 1, and there's still obviously 1. I had Wash U 3, and I think I have in 2nd right now.
Okay.
But I didn't have anybody else in the WIAC ranked. But now I don't have Oshkosh in there. I have Platteville in the 12 to 13 range.
Yeah.
I have La Crosse 17 to 18 range.
Right about
and
where
I
they
had
are.
Stevens Point, I think, at 25.
Yeah.
So it's just remarkable how in a shift of maybe a month, 6 weeks time, how much your opinion of a league can change.
That's very common with that conference. The women's side, they have 3 teams ranked and a 4th one and it's not Oshkosh is none of those. And again, Oshkosh was the favorite on the women's side too.
It's also funny when the year began. I mean, maybe I'm a little biased being that I work at NJCU and I see this team every day. I had us in the top 12 when the year started based on the talent that we had, but haven't been able to put it together. The team in the league that's really stepped up has been Montclair, but the team in the region that people need to keep an eye on, and we saw this firsthand a couple weeks ago, Shiva is really good.
Yeah, well, it's been, I don't know that you've ever been able to say that about the Maccabees and men's basketball. I know they were in the tournament a couple years ago, but.
You know what, good for them. It is nice to see another team that hasn't had a lot of success kind of get to that level, and strong take to the glass there by Stensgaard.
That's something Coach Brown has to correct immediately. As Adonis Melvins has no chance. I'm sorry, Myers has no chance to cover Stensgaard. Not physically, not in terms of size, not in terms of speed.
Tony falls down wide open 3 and missing an opportunity, but getting the rebound. Jackson has the ball knocked out of bounds. A heads-up play by Banks prevents what would have been a probable easy layup for Julian Jackson.
Both coaches have a matchup puzzle to figure out. That's the one for Coach Brown. For Coach Burkhoff, it's who's going to cover more as Jackson hits the jumper, because Jackson is being matched up with him. He's not tall enough to cover him, and that's resulting in free throw opportunities for Moore. Ingersoll is tall enough but not quick enough to match up with Moore.
Tony's been quiet offensively. Quadri Moore, 3-pointer, looked like that. A little bit of a block there. Yeah. Loose ball off of the Knights will be River Falls ball.
I understand Moore's frustration as he turns around to the officials. Officials for tonight, Thomas Sawyer. I can see why he goes by Thomas. Curtis Williams and Eugene Felice. Witness the Sawyer, the real Tom Sawyer. It's not a Journey song, but it's still it's of the same musical.
I think they made me read that book in grammar school.
I was going with Rush. You were going with Mark Twain, but either way.
Listen, there's more to me.
One of us is more has more literary knowledge than the other one does.
For those of you out there who think that Ira Thor is one-dimensional with sports and music, oh no, I've read a couple books along the way.
And I used to have a mullet, which should tell you everything you need to know about my choice in music.
Wait a second. No pictures or this doesn't happen.
Oh,
There's definitely no
I'll
video.
pull one up for you. I'll pull one up for you.
I need to see this.
It's on my sister's Facebook page.
Quadri Moore in and off the back rim. Jameek comes up with it. Jameek misses. And Jackson pulls it down on the baseline. This needs to be your new profile pic on Facebook, brother. To the window, drawing contact and scoring is Stensgaard. He'll go to the line with a chance to put River Falls on top as they tie the game at 46 apiece. Gothic Knights will sub Tony Banks. Their top 2 scorers are out. Darley and Calhoun into the game. Jackson is out for River Falls, and Werdin is back. Free throw is no good, but another chance here for River Falls. A tied game. Worden down the lane, right side, and they're going to have to reset here. Keegan O'Neal's also in the game for River Falls. He's number 12. 9 to shoot. 3-pointer is in and out. Rebound. And converting in traffic is Alex Odie, and River Falls has taken a 2-point lead. Gothic Knights are going to call timeout.
Well, Odie muscling up there, both before and after the basket. A little celebration. Coach Brown has tried to solve the Stensgaard puzzle here with Darley. Darley out there now. Kate and Darley to try and cover him. And it is a full, and so we will take it with him back to the Classic. This is shaping up to be a Classic. 15:41 to play. River Falls by 2.
Did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
Thanks, Mayim, and I loved you on Blossom. I've always just wanted to come out of a break saying that. And
Wow.
David Q has made that dream come true for me.
That is the moment I will remember from this tournament. Not my school playing here, not great meals with my friends, not the ordeal I went through at JFK. It is a Blossom moment. Thank you, Gordon. There's 7 to shoot after the timeout. Darley off the screen. Darley drives through. Darley kicks it out. Myers going to have to force up. They're not going to get it off in time. No, they're going to let it count. So I thought he missed the shot clock. Odie with the board. River Falls. And they have taken the lead as the Gothic Knights have now lost the rebounding edge as well. Become a little bit more physical here in the second half. I think you expected it would, Gordon.
Yeah, well, the other thing that's happened is their shooting percentage has plummeted, and they just don't get defensive rebounds anymore.
That is a big-time battle for the ball, and Odie again, man, he's truly been a workhorse down low, 6'7" junior in his time off the bench.
River Falls has 9 offensive rebounds.
4 to
Jersey
shoot, more
City has
contested. That's short into the hands of Jameek Moore. He looks up the court. Darley didn't see it. Myers is there. Myers, again, getting just his first and second career starts at point guard on this trip. After starting the year as the number 3 point guard, number 1 point guard on the depth chart did not make the trip. So Myers is getting an opportunity.
And it's worked out all right on offense. Its defense is the side where they've really struggled with Stensgaard.
This is one of the hardest things, I think, for a college player to adjust to. Quadri Moore to the basket, and
he did not get it off.
He did not get it off. It was blocked anyway,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't have mattered. And for Quadri Moore, this is one of the rare matchups over the course of the season where he's not the biggest player on the court.
Right. Now, Tony's getting a break here. When he gets back in the game, they got to find a way to get him back involved. Again, they seem to, with the flurry of threes they hit in the first half, it seems to have lulled them into a false sense of security on offense where first they were settling for them, and now they're just not able to find anything offensive.
That'll be an illegal screen on Jackson. First one we've seen in this game. There were a ton of them called yesterday in the Central Jersey City matchup.
Yep.
But it's been a fairly quiet game in that front. For those wondering, by the way, we've talked about Quadri Moore and Jameek Moore. They are not related.
No.
Jameek Moore played at Hackensack High School in Bergen County, New Jersey. And Quadri Moore for Linden, which is one of the best high schools in the state. He was a first-team All-State player. Jameek is able to hit that one, and against the window, he'll go to the line with a chance for a three-point play as we see a sub, Bryce Phillips. And then Alex Odie, who did such a great job defensively, got a quick breather and goes back in as well.
Yeah, they need him on Moore. Moore is a tough matchup, both Moores. This one is the one I'm referring to at the moment, though. He's a tough matchup. He's got really long arms and legs.
And Jameek does convert.
Senior from Hackensack with the big basket there. Jersey City back up by 1. That ends River Falls now has a 2-minute 17 score drought.
Well, I think
Central.
it's safe to say that this is going to be a game that's going to be back and forth for the final 14 minutes. And what other way would you want it if you're a true basketball fan watching probably was on paper the best men's matchup of this whole tournament?
Yep. Although River Falls and Muskingum will be pretty good tomorrow, too. It's a good way to end it. You know who's a true basketball fan? Central College. They're done, but they're here. That's them in the stands right across the way.
Good for them.
Yeah, not unusual. You saw St. Vincent women here watching a late game last night. So, and it's not uncommon that you'll see either entire teams or random players who will decide. And, you know, it's kind of cliche that, well, the Division III athlete loves basketball so much that, of course, they're going to be here on their free time. But it actually also ends up to be it's a cliche that's proven at this tournament, as you will find the players just randomly watching games they don't have a reason to be here to see.
Roger Moore is 8 of 10 from the line after he knocks down both. And he'll get a breather. We'll see Michael Clement, number 25, check in.
Oh, yeah.
For Central, this was their day off. They're going home on Monday, but their coach said yesterday, you know what, this is going to be a family day. They have a lot of family in the trip. They're going to have a chance to spend time with their loved ones in Vegas. Fun town to be in if you got some free time, that's for sure.
Two rows, good eye here from Dave McHugh. Two rows behind Central. That's the entire Milwaukee School of Engineering women's basketball team, all 7 of them right there.
Yeah, you got to feel for them. Obviously, all injury-plagued right now, but they gave it their all in this tournament. They went out 0-2, but they had some tough matchups and fought to the end.
And Coach Trees had a very positive and constructive outlook on it. You can see that in our D3Hoops.com classic conversations. Their biggest concern right now was the player who got injured, Dogma. She would be the 8th player. She's not in the stands, and they were trying to figure out whether she needed to go to the hospital or not. The other thing that will encourage you to stay indoors for this, Milwaukee's flight leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning. They'll be up when you're still playing craps or whatever it is you play in the 4 in the morning. They're going to be the ones. They're going to be the team walking past you to the airport.
Brother, after what I saw last night playing blackjack at 3:30, as Scarley throws that away. For those who are not friends with me on Facebook, they didn't see my little story. I saw somebody split kings against an 8. I had to go to sleep at that point because it was just traumatizing. I'm gonna need therapy after that one. By the way, I had a 4, and after the guy split the kings, he got mad at me for hitting on a 14 against an 8. I'm sorry that you don't know how to play this game.
Hannah Trees' response to me when I said that they were not going to be inspired, but what they see at 4 o'clock in the morning in a Vegas casino, she said, I've told them that they're not allowed to make eye contact with anyone as they leave the building.
Jumper is no good. Loose ball coming down with it. And Jake Reek does the work. That one also off the marks. Jameek Moore with the board. Listen, I don't normally stay up 3 o'clock in the morning playing cards. I'm usually up 3 o'clock in the morning doing work. As Myers has that one blocked. 3 o'clock in the morning doing something worthwhile, right? As that is on the floor. Banks with the hard foul on Jackson.
And Jersey City's Jameer Calhoun is going to have to suck it up and stick the contact in his eye with the sweaty hands.
This
is going to sting a little. Yep. Ready? 1, 2. Oh, he's going to go get some water.
That is why I had LASIK surgery for my 30th birthday, which was almost 13 years ago. Well, once in a while, you got to buy yourself something. That was quality of life thing.
Moore checks in. They need the rebounding help because River Falls is getting 2 and 3 chances on every possession here now.
I'm still trying to get Dave and Pat to join me at the table just once. Like there was a great photo a couple years ago of Pat Coleman and I playing cards. I got to get you and Quincy McHugh out with us. Have a little fun. Inside. Oh, what a block by Sam Toney. Stuffing Jackson up the court to Jameek Moore.
Jackson was ready to try and posterize him, and Toney with the response.
Moore, fall-away jumper, no good, and then that's going to be an off-the-ball foul. Actually, I'm sorry, loose ball foul on Clement, who was a little bit too over-aggressive on that. But, man, that was an all-American block by Toney there.
That was an impressive play there for Toney. Probably underrated as a defender. He's so big and his arms are so long, he kind of makes it look effortless most of the time. But there was nothing effortless about that.
Toney's got visions of playing professionally overseas, and he's got the ability, but if there's one area that he certainly has concentrated on improving, it's his defense, because if you want to make some money playing the game eventually, yes, scoring helps, but if you can't defend, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. Fouls on Jameek Moore. That's his second.
Yeah, River Falls now hasn't scored in almost 5 minutes. 3 turnovers over that period.
For the Knights, the only player in foul trouble is Banks with 3. We failed to mention, I failed to mention because it's my responsibility, Ingersoll, 4 fouls. So he is out of the game.
That would explain why we haven't seen him in a while.
And Jackson and Worden each now with 3. Inside, missing the layup. Wide open. That's a big miss for Odie. Can the Knights capitalize?
That could be a 4 or a 5 point swing here.
We saw that yesterday for Ramapo. where they would miss a couple wide open layups and what it led to, and then they eventually got defeated pretty handily. Darley kicks out to Sam Toney from the wing for three. Back iron, no good.
Looked good.
And off the hands it did. Reek with the grab. Reek now at the guard position over the Jacksons in the game, but that's swatted away. Moore with it to Darley. Darley, layup, no good. Moore. Won't matter as Darley is contacted on the shot, so he'll go to the line for a couple.
And that's the third foul on Jackson now, or fourth.
That's 4 on him. To me, that is your biggest loss if you're River Falls, because not only does he got 16 points, 7 rebounds, but he's been playing such good defense for the Falcons.
Yeah, you can live. You would like to have Ingersoll because of Moore on the other side, but you can live without him. I'm not sure you can be effective against Jersey City without Jackson on the floor. And although I think we're going to find out because Jackson's going to take a break here.
Checking back in here will be Austin Worden, who himself has 3 fouls. So that's an interesting dynamic now for River Falls with their bench. How much are they going to be able to contribute? They're down 4. There's 10 minutes to go, but they got 3 significant pieces in foul trouble.
Well, they got to get some sustained offense from somebody other than Jackson and Stensgaard, who are the only 2 guys in double figures at the half, and were at this page are going to finish that way. Odie Keller. Keller's the guy I would look for. He's the guy who's got the 3-point touch. He's bringing the ball up right now.
You see a lot of basketball over the course of the season, Gordon. I know you do a lot of play-by-play in the Mid-Atlantic. You've come up and done some games for us in Jersey City as well. But, you've seen the NJAC quite a bit over the years. Mm-hmm. Not the WIAC as such, as that's going to be a goaltending on Clement on the good basket by Odie. But from what you've seen so far from River Falls and from the WIAC over the years, how would you explain the kind of the difference in the styles?
I think the Jersey City or the NJAC teams like to play with tempo a little more. The teams, if I'm thinking as a whole, you have teams like Ramapo who thrive on that, but even Montclair State wants to get up and down the floor and generate their offense that way. I would say the defense is probably the half-court defense is a little better in the WIAC.
Clement finishes on the second chance after Moore misses the 3.
Yeah, so that's how I would. But I would say if you could do a 10 versus 10, I think it would be split pretty evenly. I think the top teams in the WIAC, and the tournament has kind of borne this out, are probably better than the top teams in the New Jersey Athletic Conference. Not necessarily 1 versus 1, but once you get to 2 to 2, 3 to 3. But I think once you get down to the bottom of the conference, if we can drop if you could drop Camden and Kane, which are probably the 2 weakest links, I think it would be pretty even.
Breaking news, Gordon Mann has relegated Camden and Kane
to the
skyline.
They're now part of the City University of New York Athletic Conference.
Breaking news first reported by Gordon Mann.
Yeah, well, they've got 2 more teams, so that's the question is how do you play it there?
We could have a little fun here in Vegas.
Yeah.
No truth to the rumor that Rowan is leaving the NJAC to take St. Thomas's place in the MIAC.
Well, the rumor for them all the time is they're leaving Division III to go to D2. That's the one I'm always waiting to hear confirmed.
I'll believe that when it happens. I think you have a better chance of seeing me flying, as that triple is converted by Worden.
Yeah, first points of the game, only 1 for 3. Had attempted 1 other 3, but we said they got to get offense from somebody else, and they get it for there to tie the game.
I've been hearing rumors about Rowan going D1 for probably a decade now. I'm not saying it's impossible. They definitely have the land down there to build, as that pass by Quadri Moore well over the head of Melvins and out of play. That's a turnover for NJCU. And after just 5 in the first half, they got 9 now with 8:39 to play. It's a 55-55 game.
Back-to-back possessions here for the Falcons with points from Odie and Worden. So,
and inside and taking it to the rim for 2. Odie gives River Falls back the lead without 3 of their best players on the floor. Tony tries to answer, and he does with the triple.
Such a smooth stroke.
Sam Toney, the All-American, with his 3rd 3. He's got 10 points. One of 3 players in double figures for the Knights. River Falls with 3 players in double figures as well. And I think the foul's going to be on Melvin's.
Yeah, and then, well, they found a way to exploit the smaller guards. Earlier it was Stensgaard who is exploiting Kyrie Myers, and now it's Odie who's exploiting Adonis Melvins Jr. I understand why they're playing them. You need their speed, you need their ball handling, and you can't hide them on defense, and that's been the problem here.
If the Gothic Knights have one glaring weakness this year, other than the fact that there's so many new pieces that are finally beginning to really gel, it's the point guard spot.
Yeah.
It's the inexperience at the point guard spot, and they graduated Shaquan Worthy, who that one, what a follow there. Off the bench, man.
They're
Alex
getting killed
Odie
on
is,
second chance points.
But Alex Odie is just dominating down low right now.
Yeah.
Shaquan Worthy started that spot for 3 years, so when he graduated, that was a big loss for the Knights, and they lost 5 of their 6 starters last year. You could say 6 because you had 2 guys who kind of split one starting role. Coney, the only one back. They filled the other pieces, but the point guard spot still a work in progress. As that three-pointer by Myers off the mark, and then Jameek Moore picks up his 3rd foul unnecessarily on the tie-up with Keegan O'Neal.
Well, the other thing that's flipped around here, this will just be the 5th and 6th free throw attempts of the game for River Falls. They had none in the first half, but they're in the bonus now with 7:30 to play. They're going to get plenty of opportunities.
That's be a lot of time spent at the line as this one hits the stretch run. 7:30 to play. River Falls back in front now, 60-58.
River Falls is not a good free throw shooting team either, 66%. Keegan O'Neal, who's here at the free throw line, he's had very limited opportunities. He's 4 for 6 as he takes this one.
Misses that one, and Quadri Moore eventually comes up with it. NJCU as a whole, okay as a shooting team. Tony for 3. That one's well off the mark, and coming up with it is the Falcons. Knights 68% from the line. You want to see your team somewhere above 70%.
Yep.
That's a good barometer.
Stensgaard on Moore. That's an interesting matchup.
Approaching 7 minutes to play. River Falls on top of Jersey City by 2. Kicks it out. 3-pointer left side is no good, but another long rebound for the Falcons. Shot clock resets to 20, of course, this year on the new rule. I think a lot of us are still getting used to that, so expecting to look up and see 30.
Yep. Falcons with 16 extra second chance points. It will stay that way because traveling violation there onward in.
Gothic Knights will go to the bench for the first time today. You will see freshman Deshaun Emmanuel, 6'4", power forward out of Jersey City. And it'll be a full timeout, so I think we'll talk about this after a break. Gothic Knights, River Falls, Falcons lead 60-58. We'll be right back.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Back here, 6:37 to go. Gothic Knight basketball after the timeout. The River Falls Falcons on top of the Gothic Knights of NJCU by 2 in what has probably been the most entertaining men's game of this tournament so far. Jameek Moore inside ties the game. Quickly up the court in transition, but the Aaron Rodgers pass is incomplete. Aaron Rodgers has been such a disappointment this year. Sorry, that was on our family Canistoo football team, as my dad wins the bragging rights for another year. I'm not going to hear the end of that for a while. 60-60 is your score.
And see Quadri back involved.
And Quadri Moore goes back to the line after drawing contact yet again. He's been very active inside, and at the line is where he's capitalized. He's 9 out of 11. He has 11 of NJCU's 16 foul shot opportunities.
Well, he's such a tough matchup. He's got the broad shoulder base, long arms, ability to hit the three. And with Ingersoll, who he kind of single-handedly neutralized by getting him to commit 4 fouls, he's a big part of the reason that Jackson, who was out for a while, and now, mark this in your score sheet. When Jackson went out, they were down 4. He comes back in, they're down 1, but they played well without him on the floor for a stretch. Now he's got to make that. He's got to make that hand stand up. He's got to play 6 minutes here without committing a foul and finding a way to get involved on offense.
Gothic Knights after the free throw lead by 1. 3-point attempt to take the lead, and Keller drills it.
That was a big 3 and a tough shot there, as he did not get a clean screen, but it didn't matter.
From 26 feet, and he hit it straight on to give River Falls back the lead. They trailed by 1, they lead by 2. Just over 5 minutes to go, and what has been a great matchup of 2 of the top public school power conferences in the country. Moore with it to Darley for 3. That one's no good.
They just don't call guys getting undercut.
Quadri Moore with the reverse. Wow.
Nice play by Moore, but I'm not sure how there's not a foul there, how he's not called for. He was not doing the Reggie Miller scissor kick thing. He just wasn't given a chance to land.
It is 63-all. This has been everything we've asked for in a game and then some. Keller hit a big 3 a moment ago.
Jackson.
Over to the South Dakota transfer. Oh, the pass too far out in front by Stensgaard.
Yes.
And the Knights will utilize a full timeout, so we'll take it as well. 63-63, stick with us. This is a good one.
For the love of the game, but for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important. But as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Back here at South Point Arena in Vegas, a couple days before the Barbara Walters year of 2020. Looking forward to that.
Took me a second.
Well, listen,
it's the year of the rat, if you're into the Chinese rotation there on the animals.
It took me a second and a half there, a good hot minute to figure out the Tom Sawyer reference you made. So, so you're forgiven for the Barbara Walters 2020 reference. I like my news programming. Or I did.
Back when it existed.
Before Twitter was invented. Jameek Moore, strong inside. That one won't go down, but he will have a chance for 2 from the line. Yeah, I don't think I've watched the news.
That show's not on anymore, is it? I mean, I know.
I have no idea. I watch 60 Minutes now and then, as that is foul number 4 on Odie, who's played so well off the bench.
They've got 2 guys out there who they can't really afford to lose now, in Jackson and Odie. And I wonder if, Ingersoll's been on the bench for basically the whole second half. And you worry about him coming in and not being in rhythm and being cold. But I wonder if you try. Well, there you go. I was going to say, I wonder if you try and steal a minute with him, and that he comes right off the bench.
So Jameek Moore, as we got to differentiate, has 1 out of 2. The Gothic Knights back on top by 1. And as Ingersoll comes in, there are 3 players with 4 fouls in Ingersoll, Jackson, and Odie. Oh, Quadri Moore nearly steals that one away.
Well, Ingersoll's had a few moments where he's been caught napping. And Moore, I like the effort there to see if you can catch him one more time.
Three-pointer is good. Long three is knocked down by Stensgaard. A 2-point lead for River Falls.
Moore, understandably frustrated, he turns around at the Gothic Knights bench and says, "Who was supposed to cover him?" It wasn't Moore's man. Moore was on the center.
Well, River Falls only 29% from three-point range. That one is booted out of bounds. But Dave, after a very, very slow start, has started to heat up and some big shots to tie the game and take the lead.
Yeah,
Tony back in.
2 for 13 to start now, 7 for 24. And hold on.
There'll be a conversation.
Keegan O'Neill at the scorer's table. He's going to sneak in here for Jackson. Again, offense, defense, try and preserve his 5th foul, or avoid his 5th foul. Jameer Moore in the hands of Banks, shot no good, and River Falls gets another stop.
66-60 for loose ball. The Gothic Knights come up with it. Up the court to Darley. 2-on-1. Darley for 2. No, but he's fouled.
And no, that's O'Neill. Sorry, I thought that was Ingersoll.
Oh,
O'Neill committing the foul.
That is, however, a big miss. You got to convert that.
Yeah, you really do. He's got to get 2 free throws. He gets 2 free throws here, you forget about it. But if he splits a pair and he's 2 for 2 tonight, that's one you want back.
So Darley to the line. Caden Darley, sophomore transfer from Raritan Valley. He knocks that one down. That's a junior college in New Jersey, for those who are not familiar with New Jersey, as I would imagine half our audience is not. New Jersey, we have beautiful beaches, high taxes, and lousy NFL football teams.
Indeed.
As Gordon Mann had the greatest headline of all time today on D3Hoops.com. Do you want to say it?
No, I might be from Philadelphia. Just if you see the headline and you're an Eagles fan, it's going to make you a Philadelphia Eagles fan. It'll make you smile at least a little bit.
He said, "Fly Eagles, fly." I give you credit. It was creative. Three-pointer, another triple. Once again, after a tie game, River Falls answers. It's Ingersoll from the corner.
He's out there for defense, not for that, but they'll certainly take it.
Manuel misses, gets his own, fights for it. What is the call? It's a jump ball. Possession favors River Falls.
3:02 to play here. Big possession for both teams. Haven't had a 2-possession lead in a while. And 69-66, so the team's not exactly going up and down the floor. Now, why does Tony go to the bench here?
I'm actually surprised by that move. They bring in Calhoun, who's an excellent defender.
It's mad at him, okay. He's got 1 foul. I would think now would not be a good time to have a teachable moment.
Yeah, and Ingersoll again, 5 straight for him after a tied game, and River Falls now on top by 5.
Biggest lead.
That is, of course, the biggest lead, because River Falls trailed for majority of this game, and when they did, it was no more than 1 possession. Gothic Knights have to get something on this one. They have 7 to shoot. Banks with it. Banks down low. That ball is knocked away and stolen by the Falcons.
You really need Sam Tony out there. I mean, he's your best player by light years. You need points. I understand wanting to drive a message home, but maybe you take time to do that in the locker room and not when you're down 5 points with 2 minutes to play. Because I don't know where they go now. The Moore who can create his own shot is not out there. Tony is not out there. You're asking you're asking Moore, who's a complimentary player, and 4 guys who are not primary options to get you baskets in key situations. And maybe that's why Coach Brown just took the timeout.
Oh, full timeout to figure this one out. 2:05 to play. River Falls on top by 5.
It's on us to stop sexual assault
in any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us.
to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us,
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
And we are back here. We're going to go to Pat Coleman for a sideline report.
Reporting from the UW River Falls sidelines from the huddle, Jeff Burkhoff going over with his troops just some of the basic late game mechanics. If you need to get a timeout, let's make sure we get the ball in the front court. Be strong with the basketball. All sorts of, just those sorts of things about protecting the lead here, up 5 with 2 minutes to go. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Pat. Well, going to the line will be Jackson. His team is up by 5 and a chance to
first free throws of the night.
Yeah, he's got a chance to make this potentially a 3-possession lead. NJCU's been to the line 22 times. River Falls just 6 before this strip.
So Jackson leads the team in almost every category. This isn't one of them. He's a 65% free throw shooter, although he coaxes both of those in. And again, offense, defense to prevent that 5th foul. Now Jersey City needs points in this possession, down 7.
They don't have a true point guard on the floor right now. A couple shooting guards in Haddock and Darley. Both Moores are out there along with Tony. Gothic Knights down by 7. That's a kick ball with 1:56 to play. And
I don't know if they were going to spring free, but you had Moore standing like a statue on one elbow and Tony standing like a statue on the other. It was an interesting start to the possession.
River Falls up by 7, their largest lead at the time when they needed it. NJCU led for a majority of this game. They're in trouble now.
Got to give it to Moore and let him take a chance here.
And Moore is a foul on the floor. So he'll go to the line here. Everybody's in the double bonus. Quadri Moore's got a NJCU career high 17 points. It's actually his college high because he didn't score that much when he was at Cincinnati. And he's 10 of 13 from the line today.
Coach Brown, Jersey City has not had a field goal in 3:29. And River Falls has flipped that deficit to a 3-possession lead, and ouch.
In and out. Knights are going to sub here, going to have Banks come in for Haddock, and Calhoun defensively in for Tony.
He's been really good from the line tonight. He's 10 for 14. It's more than everybody else combined has even attempted.
That one is good. Stensgaard, Keller among the players out there, along with Jackson, Ingersoll, and Austin Worden. That was your original starting lineup.
Deshaun Emmanuel checks in on defense. It's Emmanuel right there.
Gothic Knights, are they going to press here? Down by 6.
The biggest thing for them is if River Falls misses, they absolutely have to get a defensive rebound. Even if you end up getting a stop, you can't let them take multiple shots on this possession.
Down low, nice feed. That is a block, but a foul is called on Emmanuel, who was visibly displeased with that outcome. And it'll send Ingersoll to the line. Definitely a size mismatch there. Ingersoll 6'9", Emmanuel 6'4".
And why is Quadri Moore sitting there? Why do you want Deshaun Emmanuel, who's 6'4", on the floor defending in the low block instead of Quadri Moore?
Better defensive player.
At 6'4" over 6'8"?
Quadri Moore, interesting because we list him as a center and he is the starting center, but
not traditionally.
Yeah, he's definitely not a traditional center.
Understood.
In Division III just because of his shooting gifts.
Understood.
Knights, after 2 missed foul shots, a costly, potentially game-ending turnover.
Yeah, because Ingersoll followed up the questionable defensive assignment by missing both free throws, and then Jersey City just throws the ball away.
6-point lead, 1:09 to go. River Falls, they score in this possession, can pretty much seal it. And a foul is called on Darley with just over 1 minute to go. Darley commits his his second foul, and that will send Keller to the line, his first trip today.
Yeah, Keller shoots 90% from the free throw line.
Not the one you want to foul, clearly. Substitution, and checking back in will be O'Neal.
When River Falls was down and Jackson went out with 4 fouls and Stensgaard was quiet, we said they had to get offense from somebody else, and they found the somebody else. It was Keller, it was Ingersoll, it was Worden, and it was Odie. They found a lot of somebody else's.
3 big three-pointers, ultimately going to play a big part in the outcome of this one. Gothic Knights have only made 6 field goals in the second half, and that's why we are where we are.
Now you do need threes.
Haddock for 3. That one is short and into the hands of Worden. 44 seconds to go, and with an 8-point lead, River Falls.
He pointed at the sideline.
I thought there was a timeout, but clearly there's going to be a foul there. River Falls is going to prevail unless something extraordinarily happens. They will improve to 7-3 with 1 game to go out here in Vegas and a chance to potentially start WIAC play 8-3 before they jump into one of the most brutal all-around schedules in Division III basketball. And that's going to be a loose ball foul on River Falls. The Gothic Knights, unless something changes, will be 5-7 before they return to action on January 8th against the college in New Jersey, who came in as one of the top 3 teams in the league preseason poll, but they also have underperformed this year.
Yeah, and they got stomped today by Stevens.
Audrey Moore with 40.8 to go.
Yeah, he really would have liked to have gotten back to 500, obviously, not just because of the record, the obvious mathematical difference, but just the psychological difference of saying, hey, we came to a quality tournament, we played far from home, we got to 500, and now we can kind of press the reset button and get going in conference. 1-1 is not a devastating result by any stretch of the imagination, but it would have been nice to get, if you're a Gothic Knights fan, here to get 2.
And that one is good. So the Gothic Knights trail by 7. It's not over yet, but it would take something truly outlandish in the final seconds. The Knights are going to press, and they're going to have to call a timeout because the 5-second was dwindling. River Falls, is it a 30 or is it a full? It's a full, so we'll take a quick break, see how this one ends when we come back.
Did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
Back here in Vegas, here's a report from Pat Coleman.
Thanks a lot, Ira, from the New Jersey City sideline. Mark Brown just saying the same things he's said to his team the past couple of times. Deny the inbounds pass. If you can't deny, get the quick inbounds. And he told his team not to foul Stensgaard if they can avoid it.
Thanks, Pat. Well, let's see how well they do off the inbounds here. Ball's thrown away. Knights do not see it. Oh, it looks like a traveling violation there that they got away with.
They got Stensgaard, who's got a smile on his.
He
knows he got away with 2 things there. One, he cut the wrong way, and the ball was just kind of bouncing out there, and then he wanted to take it an extra step or 2.
Yeah, Keller got away with 1, but he'll go to the line. But of course, I think for NJCU, It's not a lot of options here. A lot of good foul shooters on this team.
Jersey City going to bring Moore and Tony out. And, you know, the offense-defensive substitution, that's something for Jersey City to watch. If Brown, and I realize this one, it's probably academic at this point, but if Coach Brown really believes that his best option when he needs to get stops is with Sam Tony and Quadri Moore off the floor, on the bench, that says something about how he feels about his two primary players in terms of their defensive ability, or how much trust he has in them right now.
Knights down by 9. Needs something quickly. Tony for 3 from the corner. That one is short. Rebound goes to O'Neal. The Knights, Tony will foul Keller, but at this point, this is all academic. 25.2 to go. The shot clock is off, and Gothic Knights is going to be a disappointing one to absorb.
And I guess to clarify there, some of this is situational defense, right? So Tony and Moore are not your best bets to generate steals in the full court press. There's been some moments here when they've been off the floor where the game was still half court. On the Ingersoll's take, it ended up being 2 missed free throws, and offensively for a possession or two where Tony was off the floor and Moore was off the floor, and Jersey City didn't really seem to have a first option on offense. River Falls is letting him hang around by doinking free throws.
That one is good. It's 1 out of 2, but that pushes the lead to 10. Clearly the largest of the afternoon, well, late afternoon, early evening, here in Vegas for River Falls. As the Gothic Knights, one final chance here. Myers going to get over to Jameek Moore. I imagine Jameek Moore will probably be the all-tournament team represented for the Knights with 2 really excellent games. That three-pointer, though, is off the mark. And bringing it across half court will be Stensgaard. The Wisconsin River Falls Falcons in a battle of the public school conferences leads his squad over NJCU out of the NJAC, 79-69. River Falls victorious today here on their first game of the 10th annual D3Hoops.com Classic.
Matter of just changing shots. If Jersey City had just 6 field goals in the second half, finished on basically a 5-minute scoring drought. They hit a bunch of threes early on. It looked like a different team. Obviously, every team does when you hit a bunch of threes. But for the Gothic Knights, a disappointing come down. And let's go for a post-game press conference with from Pat Coleman. He's got Jeff Burkhoff, or at least he did. All right, he's got Jeff Burkhoff, and we'll let Pat talk to him.
Tournament, and I don't know if it maybe took you a few extra minutes to get your feet accustomed to it, but good job down the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, it seems like we've been here forever, and it's only been 36 hours, I guess. But yeah, I had a feeling we might be a little lethargic coming out, which we were. Just some of the things we had in game plan wise, we weren't even close as far as trying to what we wanted to do. So we talked about halftime. It was important that we we got down double digits, so we made that little run for halftime. So it was a 4-point game, and it was anybody's ball game at that point.
Tell us about the final 10 minutes or so. There was a stretch where you guys had a big scoring drought, and then it was a big scoring spurt all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a few bigs that can play. Alex Odie came in, gave us a nice spark. We were able to get the ball inside of them. They were switching a lot of screens, so we're trying to take advantage of the switch. Obviously, when you do that, you kind of get a little stagnant on our offense, but we were trying to get it inside so hard. But we're fortunate that we got enough touches inside there, and we got some easy baskets. So.
All right, thanks a lot. Congrats, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Back to Gordon and Ira.
Thank you, Pat. As River Falls, they will be in action tomorrow as they will conclude this trip, but a big one for them as they're able to pick up a win that, when it comes time to look at the NCAA teams later on in the year, could be a team that, if the Gothic Knights can turn us around, of course,
right,
that could be in the Atlantic Regional Rankings, could become a valuable win for River Falls down the stretch. But if anything, it's a great start to them for their weekend here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it gives them a chance to build on the momentum of what was a really big win over Nebraska Wesleyan at home before playoffs, before the holiday break started. And it's the type of thing where if you come out here and you lose, that game against Nebraska Wesleyan becomes basically a total afterthought. Well, maybe it was because we were at home. Well, maybe it was before the Christmas break. Whatever. Now, if you could start to stack these victories together going into conference play, get one more against Muskingum tomorrow, build a little bit of confidence. It's still going to It's still going to ultimately depend on getting off to a better start than 1-7, which they had last year. But this loss preserves the value of and the impact, or this win rather preserves the value and the impact of the win before that against Nebraska Wesleyan. And for Jersey City, not a bad performance here. 1-1. I mean, they had some things they obviously need to work on. You get back. It's all ultimately at this point, and it probably was Univ. They won both games here. It's all going to depend on what they do in conference play, and much like the WIAC, I think the NJAC is probably really open, even with the really good starts that Stockton and Montclair have had statistically.
Couple numbers before we sign off. River Falls. Taking a look at the numbers on the screen. The primary numbers. Wisconsin River Falls just turned it around shooting-wise. 30 of 62, 48.4%. Hit 8 threes. The Gothic Knights hit 7 threes, but their shooting percentage dwindled as the game went on. 21 out of 55, 38.2%. And the rebounding numbers, the size, well, one of the rare games where the Gothic Knights are going to get out-rebounded by double-figure margins, 42-28. That was valuable for second chance points. Wisconsin River Falls with 16 second chance points. Leading scorer is Stensgaard, 8 out of 12 overall, 3 of 6 from three-point range. He finished with a team-high 20 points as they had 4 players in double figures. Jackson somehow avoided fouling out. 8 of 14, 18.7 boards. Good effort for him. 14 points apiece for Keller, who had an off-night shooting but still hit 3 important triples. And Odie off the bench was fantastic. 14 points in 21 minutes. 6 out of 10 from the field for Odie. Yeah,
Odie's, and it was a span where River Falls had 4 fouls on Ingersoll, 4 fouls on Jackson, and Stensgaard had been quiet, and we said they have to find somebody else offensively, and the somebody else was Odie. He finishes, as you said, with 14 points. He hit a couple of crushing threes. He also had 8 rebounds. The rebounding advantage was tied at the half, and as you mentioned, Ira, primarily offensive rebounds is what was so key for River Falls to keep runs going or to get second chance opportunities in the second half.
Final numbers for the Gothic Knights: 3 players in double figures. Jameek Moore, 22 points, 9 out of 16 overall, 8 boards. Quadri Moore had 20 points, 3 of 9 from the field, but he was dominant at the line. 13 out of 17 with 7 rebounds. Sam Toney, a fairly quiet night for his standards, still in double figures with 10 points. He had 3 threes, but only 3 rebounds in 23 minutes. Final score in our 5th game today: River Falls on top of NJCU 79-69. One more game to go here on the 3rd day of the Classic. It'll be Ramapo against St. Scholastica coming up on a separate stream as we sign off for the final time in this one from the South Point Arena in Las Vegas. For Pat Coleman on the sideline, our producer Dave McHugh, and my partner Gordon Mann, I'm Ira Thor. Thanks for watching this broadcast of the D3Hoops.com Classic River Falls over NJCU here in Vegas. Be well, everybody.